Okay,
All
perfect.
right, all right. Good evening, everybody. I am here with the one, the only Mrs. Fine Print, Miss Jessica Jacob Turner in the building. Woo. And little Emmanuel. Hello, sir.
The
We
baby.
enjoy your meal. We can talk while you
Right.
because you're a real mom and we're real people and we have real kids. So I'm for it. Clearly, I know that you are very busy, and we'll get into some of your busyness in a little bit. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate you making this space with everything else that you have going on with life. So
Thank
I want to
you.
start with a thank you, giving you your flowers up front.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
thank you. I have a
Yeah.
special kind I like actually, so a
Well,
particular
yeah, I
flower.
was saying I don't want to get you no real flowers and have you itching and sneezing because of the pollen. So we're just gonna give some verbal flowers, and we're gonna leave it at that.
Facts.
Oh
Facts.
goodness. So, as you know, we are doing a Women's Month celebration here at
Yes.
McCullar Family Ministries, and there are a few women that came to mind right off the bat, and you are definitely one of them. I know we have talked about getting on here before, and here we are. For those of you
Yeah.
who don't know, I used to, what is it called? We did a group. Jessica has a women's group on Facebook, and I
Yes.
helped to co-admin the group for a while.
Oh my God.
I had to step away when we started McCullar Family Ministries because I just could not pour into both
Right.
places.
Right.
I'm gonna use a
Right.
teacher word here with fidelity. So I did step down. But we are still very much so
And
here for each other, with each other. And so thank you. And I can think of so many things that came into fruition before I got to this point, and helping you with the women's group is one of them, like doing the prayer with them and getting on and talking about some really hot topics. Again, something I never thought I would do, but you were just like, "Hey, I got a lot going on. Can you help me?" And I was like,
yeah.
"Of course I'll help a friend." So,
Right.
and look at us now. It's crazy.
Girl.
Crazy.
You've always been that way though. Like you find solutions. You find capacity. Like that is who you are. I know that's why people love you.
Oh, well,
I,
thank you.
I hope that's why people appreciate you. And so when you need some riders to show up, you are one that is called. And I'm so glad for that time we served together.
Mm,
Like we still serving together. We
yeah,
switch seasons, right?
definitely.
But it couldn't have been nobody else. I'm honored to lend my little bit of wisdom in the Lord to this space
Well,
for
thank you,
you.
ma'am. Thank
Yeah,
you, thank you. So, man, where do we even start? Okay.
right,
Okay.
right.
So tell us about Jessica. Like, where are you from? What was it like for you growing up? I like go on and give us all the New Orleans.
Jeez. Oh, I've had a few lives. I keep telling people like which one do you want? So I am from New Orleans, born but partially raised. So I'm not one of the people that's like, oh, born and raised. No. I left New Orleans when I was 4 with my mom, maybe my stepdad. So I have at least 8 years of my life. So 8, 16, 24. I have at least 24 years of my life. I'm 32 now that has been spent in 3 states, and that would be Ohio, Texas, and New Orleans. So I have the South and I have the Texan and then I have the Northern. I have all of this in my developmental years. And I still say I'm from New Orleans. A lot of the culture is in me, but then there's these other states and cultures living in me too. And I honor all of those experiences. And then now I still live in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I live with my family off of one of the craziest highways. To anybody who's from Texas know about these highways. But we bought a house and now it's me, the husband, the dog, 4 babies, and all the things. I
All the
work in
things.
HR and the corporate space. I have my own business that I created because I said yes to God, but I didn't know what all was involved in it. And I create communities for the love of it. I keep creating connection spaces for women or people to come together and grow in value together. I can't help it. I do believe it's a part of my calling.
Yeah.
So that's me. I always have a ram in the bush, some type of ram in the bush. I do believe that comes from the legacy of the women who co-raised me. I mean, from my grandmother, my great grandmother, there was always something in the bucket, something for a rainy day, like put something away, put some seed to the side. So I still have that in me, even though I'm young. But that's Jessica. I do everything and nothing at the same
You do
time.
all the things,
Yeah.
always.
All the things, always, and
Yeah.
none of the things. Like,
So
so,
you told us you work in HR and you have created
yeah.
a few communities for people. So I know a place for Women's Soul, your Facebook group just for women, but what other groups do you have on
So
Facebook in
this,
particular?
so the one I first created, besides a group text, right? Because I've made some group texts. So education, jobs, hiring, and ways of money, WAYS, the ways that money does and moves and how money goes and comes. That was the first space I made because I graduated from college and I really thought I was going to be making bank. Like I said, oh my Lord, I'm about to be living high. I definitely left college making 725 at La Madeleine's. No shame on anybody who works at La Madeleine's, but I meant to make more than 725. And so I was jaded a bit. And I applied for job after job after job. And they was like, you ain't got no master's. But I thought I just needed a bachelor's. And they was like, you ain't got no experience. But I've been in school and that's not my experience. And so I created that space because I looked to God and I said, I need a way to take care of my family, whether or not somebody will hire me. And so that was made in 20, either 15 or 16. I made this space years ago and it's grown from then to now. I think I'm in this is the 7th or the 8th year I've had that space. And even though it's not super huge, the content and the knowledge there is what it was meant to be. And so anybody from anywhere, any language, any tribe, any tongue can come and get education, can come and learn how to make money, can come and learn about who's hiring or learn about HR, especially. And then for our soul, it's for my babies who love Jesus. Like for all the women who love Jesus and want to love each other, who we just make room for each other. We are not experts, we are servants, we will serve one another, and we are just growing, right? So these two spaces are, I am the admin, I'm the creator, I'm the leader of it, but I'd like to say at this point I co-invest in the spaces. You know, I co-educate, I co-share, I co-do whatever in the spaces. But yeah, and then on my website, yeah, so my website finally went out, www.jessicamjacob.com, no S on Jacob. And that was a baby that needed to be born years ago, but that thing was stuck. It was breached up in me. So the website is there out in the universe, showing my face to people I don't know. And you can find out about me there as well. And then I'm on some of the socials, not all the socials. I'm on a few of the socials, but mostly Facebook.
I see, and I know Jessica from college, y'all. So like I'm a little bit older than her, not by too much though, but kind of towards her start and middle of her time in commerce, it was my end, but we still crossed paths and we met in college. And I tell y'all all the time, I was that person that cooked and invited people over. And I think Jessica knew some people that I knew. Somehow she ended up at our house eating and we became cool. And then we didn't talk for like years. I think like years went
I
by.
don't know how like what happened. Have we
You was
ever?
pregnant while I was pregnant. You were pregnant with Layla while I was pregnant with Riley.
First baby.
Yeah, well, no, it was before that. I think there was something else because it was before you and Ro even got married that me and you reconnected via social media. And
Really?
I saw that. And so I think we kind of started talking as you and Rose started talking about marriage. I think that's
Yes.
when me and you kind of reconnected and started talking again. And then I think we kind of fell off again, but then we were pregnant at the same time. And I think when you were pregnant with your first and I was pregnant with my fourth, that's when we really like reconnected and have been since. That's crazy.
Like to be here now, I really do count you as somebody I really trust. Like to be here now, I'm like, God, how did this form? Was this intentional? Was this divine? Like how did we get here like this where if she called me, I'll come. If I call her, I know she'll show up and ain't no questions
Yeah.
asked. Like, who you need me to run up on? Okay. Like you need me to pray for somebody, I'll pray. Like there's no questions asked to this love. Like it's
Yeah.
just straight
It's
up, I love
definitely
you to a
divine.
T.
Absolutely a divine
It has to
connection.
be.
Because when I look back, like I said, there were times where we didn't talk for years. And
I mean,
then there were times where it was like, I'm waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning to pray. Will you pray with me? And you was like, yeah. And it was like, okay, let's do it. Or it was like, I'm
let's
fasting. Will you fast with
see.
me? Yeah. Or
Okay.
you would be like, hey, I got this going on. I don't know what's happening. Will you pray for me? And it's like, without question. So that's just it.
It's given Davisha and Jonathan Naya. Like it's given what you need. I got you. Like
Yeah.
what is?
I
I love Jesus.
listen.
You love Jesus. That's
And
it.
that's one thing, that's another thing I hope. Like our theme is pushing through and persevering, but I hope people also take into account the divine connections that
Yeah.
God is making in their lives. Because surely when I met you in commerce all them years ago, I was like, oh, she's so cute and young. Well, all right. And then here we are.
Like whole
I don't
legacy
even know
builders.
how many years later, 15 years
Like
later, and it's like, bro, we still talk.
we didn't change seasons. We done made humans. We didn't change jobs. We didn't quit. We done started. We done made some stuff. We done shown up in some places, left some places. Like we over here thinking about legacy and succession planning. Like, what is this?
Yeah, we went from trying to catch a free meal at the BSM to planning out meals for our families. Like, what?
Right? Like, what is
What?
me trying to look at travel points to come run up on your house? Like, come on,
Your house. Like,
guys.
we went from being in the dorm and being in them little rentals in Commerce to a whole house.
I slept on the floor in your bedroom with my family during an ice storm.
Yeah.
Like this,
When
this
y'all's power was
love.
out, girl, I was like, we ain't got no room for another family of 5, but we not finna let them sit in the cold with the baby. So if y'all cool with the flow with pallets and air mattresses,
Girl,
then come on. So yeah.
girl. When I get acres, there will always be space for you and yours. It's
Yeah,
no questions.
have
I
me a little
love
she
like
shed.
that's it's divine. This is divine.
Absolutely.
Thank you, God.
Absolutely. It's cool, man. But tell
Thank
us, what have been some pivotal changes in your life that have kind of ushered you into where you are now?
Ooh.
Look,
Girl,
without crying.
pick a change. pick a I've been somebody said on YouTube, I feel like God been on me hard in this season. Like I've been in detention for a few seasons for the stuff I was supposed to do long time ago, but I dragged my feet, or the stuff I like God in my business these days in ways that I'm like, Lord, did I really not let you in all my life in the older days? Like, because you in all my business
Yep.
now. Like your fingerprint or your voice is everywhere. I open the Bible and it's Leviticus something something, and I'm convicted. Like, what is this life? There was a point I remember this when I was pregnant with this baby, where like the Bible talks about, who would build a house unless you count up the cost? Who would build a house unless you count up what it'll take to build this cost, lest they mock you if you don't complete your work? But you build this house and you think about, what is this going to require of me? And I don't think there's any Christian who knows what is really going to require of you to live for Christ. Like, you know what the Bible tells you, but the tears and the snares and the weights of your walk, your pruning, your soul salvation, that's individual. So I would not have said yes if I knew it was gonna be like this. But since the Lord is not an oversharer, right? He don't overshare information. He shares only what you need to know. He told me what I needed to know, but I counted up the cost. I think I was in a bathroom at church, girl. I said, you know what, God, we've been together for a while, and I've come and gone in seriousness with you. I don't want to do that no more. I'm in this. I'm in. You like, you know what? You got me now, God. Like, you got my yes, you got my real yes. And as soon as I said that yes, I've been a Christian since I was a little girl. I accepted Christ at a young age. I came and went in the faith, whatever. But that yes meant something. And that yes, it wasn't 24 hours later before life started changing, relationships started changing, I started changing professionally and personally. God is not a waster of time, and I appreciate that about his character. But sure enough, I looked at my life and where I had been. I thought about my future and the visions he showed me, and I said, you know what? I don't want to live with anything wasted in this vessel. So, yes, I don't need all the answers. I don't need the step-by-step plan. I trust you'll tell me what I should know to keep it moving. I don't have to be in control, and I don't want a baby thrown on the side of yours. So I think my most recent conversation with the Lord, I said, God, I want to hold your hand the way a toddler holds his mother's hand, trying to cross the street and not get hit by a car, because the cars are coming and they do drive fast and they ain't got no they blinkers on and they don't care and they texting and driving. So I want to hold your hand, and every time I walk a little bit ahead like I got it, please pull me back in. And every time I drag behind because I'm scared or I'm being a bit lazy with it, please, push me a little bit up, but don't let me go. I used to run off, God. I don't run off no more. I keep my hand, like, we locked in like this, like putting nail prints in his palm, like when I'm scared. Like, no, we locked in. So that has changed everything. I'm not the one that's gonna tell you things got easier. Some things did, but with that, yes, some relationships changed in painful ways. Like I thought we was closer than we were, and okay, and I learned to stand up for myself. I am a people pleaser, a recovering people pleaser, and so the no that I've been giving, the boundaries that I've been setting, the how much of myself I will give out, has disappointed a lot of people who were used to getting more than what I have to give. Instead of it, many people have risen up close to me and far from me. People have gotten in place and gotten in line. When God told me, I don't need your help and you are not baby Jesus, he meant that. You really are not baby Jesus. I am God and God alone. That's it. That's it. So
Yeah.
this was like pregnant out, like God wasn't going light on me because I was pregnant. I mean, when you think about it, Mary was like deep pregnant, walking in the desert. So God didn't go light on me just because I was carrying a baby. If anything, he was like, you're gonna birth many things, not just one. So here we are,
Man.
girl.
How much do we learn about God from our children? Man, when you talked about holding his hand crossing the street, I look at my kids, I think about, and my kids are a little older, but I think about when they were like toddlers, and they were so fearless. They would climb up on something and they would jump off and just know that I would catch them. And I'm like, God, can I have that heart to where I would just climb as high as I can and jump off and know that you will catch? Like, can I have that heart? Can I have that fearlessness, that trust in you? And I'm like,
Oh,
how many times have you fallen and I didn't catch you and you still climb up and jump and expect me to and trust that I'm gonna catch you? And God has never dropped the ball. But I still
never.
be fearful and still like trust. But I look at my children, even, our oldest is about to be 14 soon. I don't
Lord,
even
14.
know. That math ain't even mathing right for me.
I'm scared.
And I still look at, even though like, he has his independence, there's just some things he has to come back to us for. And I'm just
Uh,
like, God, let me make sure I stay connected and tethered to you in a way that I don't even want to go if you ain't going. Like, I don't
Dang.
even want to be there.
Like what we used to say, like who all over there? God
Yeah, who
over
gonna
there?
be there?
Is
If it
he
ain't
over there? 'Cause I
you,
ain't coming if he ain't over
yeah,
there.
I
Like
ain't gonna be able to make it if the Lord ain't there. Y'all gonna have to count
that
me out.
covenant
I'll
with
catch
me.
y'all
Yeah.
another time. Who all over there? Mm-mm. But I mean, it's crazy. And I know one thing that we have in common is kind of going from this place of I don't know if I would say like a fearfulness or a lack of trust,
Yeah.
or just having that drive, like I gotta figure it
Yeah.
out, I can do this, only for God to be like, okay, I'm gonna watch. I watch. Like when our kids be like, I got it, and you like, let me help you. And they like, I got it. Okay, you get it then. And then 2 seconds later, can you help me? And I'm like, oh, okay. I hear you, God. I should just do what you
Okay,
say do and let you be God because you don't need my help.
God. My help.
And thank
I'm not
God.
I'm not your assistant manager. Like you don't need my help. So
Man, if I was the assistant manager, we'd be in a bad way
girl,
because child,
girl.
I'd quit. I'd be like, Lord, I ain't even trying to fool nobody today. You got me on the schedule.
Nah, didn't
Mm.
I tell you I got a record of every time I told you what to do and you ain't listening? Nah, never
Yeah.
mind. You
Yeah. Yep. You want to pray? You ain't did what I told you to do? Boop. Nope.
We
Yeah.
don't want your
Yeah.
prayer.
Thank you, God, that you are not a man
Thank
because,
you, God.
whew,
Thank you,
man.
Jesus.
So just how has faith played a role in your life?
Mm. Oh, faith. Faith. So it's crazy that you're asking me that because I've been having conversations with the Lord about growing my faith. Because I came to him in faith when I was 16, even though I was in the church as a young girl, my Jacob moment with the Lord, and ironically, my last name is Jacob, but my moment with God where I was like, I'm not gonna let go till you help me, till you bless me. I'm in this with you, and you are the only one that could help me out of this spot. That was at 16. And for all intents and purposes, medically, historically, genetically, I had a history planned for me of something being wrong with me mentally. Um and I asked the Lord, I said, if you can keep my mind, um give me a mind I can live in because I live in this head and this head is making me miserable, God. I'm miserable inside this head. I said, so, and this was 16-year-old me. Oh, like, wow, God. I said, if you can give me a mind I can live in, then no matter where I go or what I do, you'll be my God. And I will always come back to you. I will come home. Even if I wander off, just give me a mind I can live in, God. Give me a mind that I don't want to escape from. And now that I'm 32 years old, I'm getting chills just thinking about where my faith really started. In my typical human way, I accomplished many successes that caused me to believe that it was my work that made me high and not the elevation of the Lord. And as I would go high and fall and go high and fall and go high and fall, and I would keep coming back to God. Over this last season, soon after I gave that yes, I told you about, the Lord said, where we're going now, neither your power, neither your education, or your money, or the things you've accomplished, or your skills, or your good way of speaking. He said there's nothing that you've built of value and honor in this earth that will be able to sustain or carry you where we're headed. Only my power, my might, my spirit will get you through this next place. And sure enough, as smart as I am in this season, I felt so vulnerable. I felt so out of place because I made that decision not to lean on my successes as what kept me warm. I'm trying to trust in Him and lean not on my own understanding. I'm trying to acknowledge Him in all my ways. But if I'm used to acknowledging myself and how much I have or don't have, then to pivot to a mindset that trusts God more than self. I mean, just on Friday, I was like, no, Thursday, I said, Lord, it's cold out here in these streets, learning to believe you in ways I didn't want to. I wanted to believe me. I need you to come closer to me because I used to put my own coat on that I thought was good enough, and I want your coat on me, right? So faith for me looks like trusting God more than myself. And I have, not only because of trauma, abuse, rejection, different pains, I learned to trust myself because that was my safe space. And I made the decision I'd rather be in your shadow than my own. And now I'm learning to call on God, not call on my resources, to meet with the Lord before I make decisions, not call on Him after I've walked it out. So faith is really like it's just looking like, what does my Father say? What does He want? And if I don't know, I got time to wait. And if He not moving fast enough, I'm gonna waste some more because I don't have the time to waste to trust myself more than Him. I need to trust the one with the receipts, and His receipts are flawless. He's always got it done in my life, especially when I messed it up and I thought I had it. So faith is looking like trusting God more than myself. Like that's literally what it
That's
is.
real. That's real. I can definitely relate to, I've always been able to get it done on my own. I've
Mm.
always been a reliable go-to person. And when I couldn't do that anymore, it was like, well, who am I? And God's like, whoever said that was you. And I'm like, well, I guess I did. Okay, well, then who do you say I am? And
God.
there are some parallels to who I thought I was and who God said I am, but it's like, okay, God, throw away the old me and make
Oh
me a new
God.
creation, but gently and easy, please, because that
Please.
sounds really hard. And it is really hard. And it's not easy and it's not
It's not.
painless, but it's like, there's so much more on the other side of that pain. And there's
Right.
so much more on the other side of that process. So in the moment, we might want to be like, God, take me off this cross, but it's like, no, you got to endure this for the greater good. And it's just
Yeah.
like, I know the longer you keep the gold in the fire, the more refined it comes, but it's like you getting
Whew.
really deep. Yeah, I've had to sit in this fire a long time to get the deep impurities,
Oh,
the stuff that looks the most like gold or that has the most
yeah.
characteristics of real gold, take the longest to burn off. And it's like they can't stay there. This fire is really hot. And
The
God's like,
Lord,
oh,
the
no,
Lord
no,
told
no,
me,
no. I want you
He
perfect.
said, God was like, this pruning will not cease. The pruning in this season, it will not let up. You have to be birth forward. You
Yeah,
can't stay where
yeah.
you were. Time is up. You have to come out. You
And it makes
have.
me think of Hannah, and God has spoken to me so much about me through her, where it was just like, you already have so much. Things are already kind of good for you. but you know when there's something deeper in you that needs to be birthed and brought forth, and you have to shut out all the other noise, all the other voices, and that antagonizer that comes, that voice, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, I hate it, but it helps to draw you closer to God, and reminds you that there's more in you. And it's just
Yeah.
like, can it be prettier than this, Lord? And he like, you won't allow it to be prettier than this.
I said, God, you're like, your word says the little foxes destroys the vine. I said, but these foxes got sharp teeth. Their teeth
Mm-hmm.
aren't dull. They bite on my ankles and they drawing blood. I'm tripping up trying to walk. Like, come on, man. Like, can't you go lightly? Like, don't you remember
Yeah.
it was hot when you was in this flesh? Like, it was hard.
Yeah.
And God, to his mercy and his grace, because God is kind.
Yes,
When
indeed.
it really is more, when it's more than, he does send those angels. He sends that balm. He sends that comfort. He knows what's beyond our faith. He knows what's beyond our capacity. And he shows up, but he's like, listen, girl, one time I was crying because we couldn't pay our mortgage. And Holy Spirit said, if you want to sell the house, and you won't have a mortgage. I said, but I want you to pay it. I need help. And he said, you have equity. And you're crying out as if what you live in isn't a source of your wealth. He said, now don't get me wrong, I will provide. I will always provide, but you're not poor. You're not in poverty. You're not starving. You have a fridge with food in it. So get out of your pity and stand up and approach me as God. What do you need? Okay, God, I don't know how to pay the mortgage because it's due in 3 days, and we the money ain't mathing, the math ain't mathing, so we need a miracle. And you know what he did when I approached him with the respect he deserves? Because sometimes we try to finagle the Lord, right? When I approached him with the respect, that mortgage got paid. That mortgage got paid. And I say that to say God is not an idiot. He you cannot finagle him. When it's time to grow up, who let the dog out? When it's time to grow up, we gonna grow up. And for many of us, it's time to grow up. We're not babies no more. My baby is a baby, but we not babies. We gotta move on.
Yeah.
We gotta get up.
It's like I think of my kids because especially the littlest one and the middle child, they look just like me. So when they try to hit me with that little sad face, I'd be like, baby, I was doing that face long before you got here. I'm
Come
not
on.
moved by that.
Come
If
on.
you want something, you
Come
need
on.
to just ask for it because I don't have time to play with you.
Come on.
And my daughter, she's very shy. So she'll be like, she'll kind of just walk up to me and stand there, and then we'll both just be standing there like, and then finally she'll ask her question. I'm like, okay, now we can talk. But if you
No.
think I'm gonna sit here and read your mind, if you think I'm gonna play this game with you, I'm not. Say what you need to say. Say what you need to
What you
say.
say?
And I think God is the same way. Like, say what you need to say. You don't have to put your gloves on and kind of tiptoe around it. Say what you need to say. Because
You
God,
ain't
number
got to
one,
turn
He
on 10
knows.
worship songs as if it's going to move my heart a little bit more to
Okay.
bless you. What do you like? They used to approach the Lord. Here is what the issue is. We believe you could help. Please show forth your glory.
Yeah.
That's it. It wasn't all this extra.
Yeah.
They got 10,000 people about to cut our heads off. We don't want our heads cut off.
Yeah.
We believe you could keep us from getting our heads cut off.
Yeah.
Will you show forth your glory? That I shall. So,
Yeah.
respect. Put some respect on his name. He is friend. He's father. He's mother. He's brother. But he's king. He's
Yeah.
Lord. He's all the things. Can you close my door, please? This is important. No, it's not a joke. Go out because I don't want your face on the internet. Go out and close the door and lock the dog up. Thank you. Okay. Go out, close the door, and lock the dog up. Lock my door. Lock my door. There you go. Appreciate you. Thank you. Because I'm a mom.
Yeah, I tell people we are real people, and not like, you know, being all in your business, but I really like hope people see like we're real people. Like this is in real time. We really are like parenting and doing videos and spending time with the Lord and cooking dinner and washing dishes and doing the
Come on.
laundry and answering our husband's questions. And God forbid the phone ring, we're answering phone calls and running errands and picking people up from school and trying to drink our water, and we're doing all the things. How do you manage that? How do you balance that? How do you all the, because you're not just like, oh, I'm just Jessica and I just have a website. Like you have a job and you have your groups that you're the admin of. And I know you do a whole bunch of side hustles and focus groups,
Girl.
and you're always looking for streams of income on
Girl.
top of, you know, the health issues you've had over the years. Like, how do you do it?
Jesus. It's literally, I've learned, girl, this left eye been itching. I'm gonna take me a bath after this. Um, I've learned to cast my cares for real. Um, because when I had less to manage, I did not trust God as much as I do now that I have more than I can really manage on my own. I love a brain dump, and I'm saying this on a practical level. At least once a week, I go to the Lord and I lay out all the things that are pressing on me. Everything. I just write it out. I press it. I'm like, okay, this appointment, that meeting, that task, that thing, lack of sleep, enough sleep, this food, that thing, this. And I put all of that out at his feet. And I tell him, I'm like, God, all of this is important. None of it is more important than the next. Maybe something is, I can't see it right now because right now it's just all pressure. It's just pressure right now. Whatever must be done, please walk that out in me. Give me the strength to walk that out. If something needs to be moved, can we move it? And if something is forgotten, please bring it back up. I can make 15 lists. I can set all the appointments. I can set all the reminders. I can hire. I can get an assistant. I can do all of these things, but there's nothing that is helping me. Like I cast my cares. I cast them down. I write them down or I speak them out for the people who don't like to write. I speak it out and I lay it at his feet. And I ask him for the capacity for whatever must be done. And I ask him for the support to delegate or take off what is not mine anyway, but is still in my head. With this method, here you go, God. Take one. Pick. Here you go. He pours back out sustaining power. He pours out partnerships I didn't know I had. He pours out creative ways to get stuff done that I didn't think of on my own. He pours out sleep and rest that I'll get in 3.5 hours because I couldn't get 8 or 10. Like this God, because he's always been this way, this God, if I will approach him as the one who can meet my need, he always does. And so it's really not that I got like what is it? I thought that it would be that I would become more successful because I got better in some ways. But the more I've yielded myself, I yield. I am so smart that I yield. I am an overthinker. I yield. The more I yield, he shows up to the point where if I look and I see that I'm succeeding, what? My kids are alive and they moisturize and they know how to spell. What? I'm getting projects done in my job. What? My husband's feeling respected. Oh my God. Oh, what? What? My hips are like stretching out from the back. What? I am amazed. I'm like, God, when did we do all that? And he said, he'll literally be like, it was then that I carried you. I carried you through your life. I'm walking you through your days. Not your power, not your
Yeah.
might, my power, my might, my spirit.
Yeah.
I am getting the glory because you are yielding to me. You're not trying to be me. That's why you keep showing up when you thought you didn't have enough to show up with. That is literally how it's getting managed. This so if I move my head over my chair is the glory of the Lord and his magnificent power getting everything done through the vessel that is me. I cannot take the credit. I cannot take the credit. I used to try to take the credit, girl. Pride, all type of stuff, trauma-based success. Like, look,
But you better go on and just preach to us
come
then.
on. Come on.
Yeah.
He's getting it done. God is
Yeah.
getting it done through me. I
Yeah.
lended my body and he
I
getting
will
it done.
honestly say when I like you that submitted in that yielded place, I didn't realize it until God revealed how much I idolized my own intellect.
Jesus.
And I was like, but I never
Jesus.
really thought I was that smart of a person. But it's like, but look at how you live your life. You base your success off of how well you accomplish these things that you came up with. And it's only when they
So true.
fail do you then seek me. And it was
Yeah.
like, I thought, oh, I have no
Yeah.
excuse. And so for me, that was like, man, I really idolized my intellect. Like I really judge my life. I really put my identity into how well I accomplish my goals. And
Yeah.
therefore, when you don't reach your goal, which happens often, then you back, oh, woe is me. And God's like,
Right.
on like the path I put you on, why are you tripping? And it's like, because this is not what I thought I would be doing. This is not what I had in mind. And I know you and I, because again, like Jessica and I have known each other for years. I knew her before she was married, and we discussed like marriage and prayed together and parenting, and we prayed together. So we know kind of some of the darker sides and the backside of things that people don't see. And so I know the growth that we've had over the years from just to the point where this tug of war with God and God being like, okay, you know what? I will let you have that. And then when we have it, we like, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. You were
Girl,
right.
God,
I don't
like,
want it. And it's like I don't want this tussle no more. I don't want to tussle with you no
I
more,
won't
Lord.
fight God.
I
I
don't want
won't
it.
fight. Is it because we're getting older that we being more obedient?
Listen, I don't have that
Won't have
young energy.
the spring in our loins to be rebellious no more.
I don't have that young tussle in me. It's like you got it. I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, I just don't have the capacity. I don't have that youthful capacity to sit up here and play no more. God, you got it. Whatever you want, that's what it's gonna be because I cannot and I think, we laugh, but really that's what maturity is. People is like, oh, maturity is I have it all figured out. No, maturity is when you realize you don't have it figured out, so you
I
yield. That's
I yield.
maturity. I yield, God. You're right. No
I yield.
tussling, none of
You
that.
win in
Like,
advance, God. You got
yeah.
it. You got it.
Before I even make up my mind what I'm gonna do today, God, what do you say I should do? So I'm not wasting no time that I
On your
don't
heart,
have.
Lord.
What do you want
Come
me to do
on. And
with
you
this
know what?
this,
You know
this
what I
earthen
learned that was
vessel?
precious? There's something precious I learned. I learned to see everything I do as a form of worship, because I thought, I really did think that worship was only what happened at church or only when I get time alone. And I really, so right now in my life, at best, I get an hour and a half a day alone. And this is in 24 hours. If I can get that hour and a half, I get the hour and a half. Even so, for the 22.5 hours that I'm serving somebody in my life, that is even good to the Lord. That is even like when He looks upon me and I am in those spaces living out the energy He gave me. He looks at that and He says, that is good. You are pleasing me. You are where I planted you. So I don't separate, okay, well, this is for God, but the rest of this is just work. No, all of my life is for His glory. When I go to work, when I come home, when I take a bath, when I use the bathroom, when I eat, when I sleep, when I rise, when I drive, all of my life is for his glory,
All
and
of it.
all of it is giving him glory. And
Mm.
that life flows better than the life I thought where I was trying to impress God. Girl, God is like, I see all of you and love you and adore you. Bring me into every moment. Don't put me in a box.
Yeah.
I want to be in everything.
Yeah. And I mean, that's true worship and that's true ministry. You see, he listen. And I'm happy to hear so many people getting back to that place of, in everything that I do, let it be unto you. Not just when I show up at church, not just when I show up for a ministry event, but in my day-to-day. When I go to the grocery store, I'm still an ambassador for Christ.
Yeah.
I'm still in his image. When I go to my secular job, I am still an ambassador. I'm still walking in his image. I can't be holier than thou at church and then a hellraiser everywhere else and think that my life is acceptable unto him. Like, that is not how that works. And I think people are getting it.
Yeah.
And it's long overdue that in
Thank you,
all
Jesus.
things, we got to do all things
In
as unto
all
him.
things.
Which means taking care of yourself, sleeping, eating, showering. That, listen, riding in the car with no music or with the music blasting, like whatever it might be.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
I learned that the Lord loves me whether I make my bed in heaven or hell. He is there.
It's funny that you say that because I remember some years ago when I was just like, I think I was in a low place personally. I think me and Gerard were in a low place, and I was just like, I just need a break because I just can't get anything right. Everything's falling apart. And you sent me that psalm. And I was just like, it's not God. It's my mindset. That's when I knew it was my mindset. It's not that God had failed or God wasn't God. It was that I could not see it because of my own mentality. You also put me on to our sister and our homie Stephanie Gretzinger.
A baby.
Yeah, like I can't wait to meet her in real life. I don't know when I will. I can't wait to meet her in real life. But like so many of her songs, when she was just like in the ordinary day to day, like life all around us points like arrows back to him, but we missed it. And it's just like, man. And even though she's not doing as much music now, I've been catching a lot of her speaking engagements, and her speaking engagements are just as powerful as her music. And I'm just like, sis, like, I want to be like you when I grow up. Like, Steph, I want to be like you. I want to meet you. Come holler at me. But she about like us, so she be at home with her kids if she ain't at a speaking engagement.
Come on, shoot.
But yeah, so as we wrap up, and we definitely got to do this again. This, honestly, y'all, when me and Jessica talk, this is what we do. We complain, we whine, and then we get back to the word and we pray for each other and we adjust each other's sounds. We wipe our faces and we get up and we get it. So like what y'all see today is a lot of how our conversations go.
We let each other be authentic.
Yes, that's like we ain't gonna go through our Instagram reels. That ain't y'all business. But just know she is.
You want to be in our Instagram DMs.
We get authentic and just raw with each other in a way. Like everybody needs a friend like that. Jessica is the first person. It's really the only time I ever been to the spa. So the only time I've been to the spa, the first person to take me somewhere like that was Jessica, and she treated me, and I was like, this is kind of cool. I think I might be more of a girly girl than I thought.
Girl, I was sitting in the tub this morning, like, God, when we going back to the spa? Like, what is I'm doing in a regular tub? Come on. Can we go to the spa?
This is ridiculous. I'm above this.
I want to go to a nice tub.
That is funny. But in our last few minutes, what are your words of encouragement or the takeaway that you just want people to remember? Maybe it's the exhausted mom, maybe it's the stay-at-home mom, the working mom, the one who wants a family, the one who has a family and don't know what to do with them. the one trying to have these multiple streams of income so they can have these buckets, like, what is your word of encouragement for them?
Abide in the Lord and let him do his work through you. We really are created. We're not like, I think we create, but everything we have is given, right? So we are created, and I want us to remember, if you abide in God, you abide in the vine that is God. This is John 15. If you abide in him and he abides in you, he will take care of everything. And I say this as someone who I've been in the low money places, the high money places. I've been so depressed, I don't know my left or my right. And I've been insanely happy. I've had amazing connecting moments with my husband, and other times I'm like, who is you? How did we even get together? Like, I've had my kids impress me and concern me. I've had a great body. I've had a saggy body. Like, I've been through a few different seasons. I've learned to stay with God. I don't feel the need anymore to hurry up anything. I stay with him, and it's worth being connected to the Lord. It is the winning side. It is the right side. So whatever any of us has going on that doesn't seem to be changing, moving, solving itself, whatever we're waiting for, wondering for, it doesn't matter what it is. Stay in the vine that is God. Stay connected, and he will bring about that fruit from you. He'll bring about that bloom in due season. I know this, even though I'm only 32. I know this. I stake my life on this. I carry my cross for this. He will finish the good work he started, but we got to stay connected, stay in the Lord. Don't go further. Come closer to God and watch what comes out of your life. And that is my encouragement. Yeah.
Yes, 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 indeed. Very. Y'all, what we failed to mention is Jessica's actually a poet. She be trying to downplay that magnificent speech that she has, but Jessica, along with her being a writer, she is a poet. If you go back in her archives, you might find some of those poems, or you might find some video clips of some spoken word from Jessica here, MsFinePrint. I feel like we didn't even
uh,
touch on all the various skills you have, but that's mainly because we came to lift up the Lord. But
right.
yeah, y'all, Jessica is skilled beyond what you may know. She trying to downplay it, which I get it, because I can understand you don't want your inbox blowing up with people trying to get them, trying to have you look at their resumes and edit their books and stuff. But y'all check out her website.
God.
Real talk, if you are like on the hunt for work, or just kind of some plugs, ways to make extra money, and ways to manage that money, we didn't really even get into that. Jessica, be on the budgeting tip on her Dave Ramsey,
I be
all of
about the
that.
coins. I do be in the coins. I be
Okay, so
watching.
tell us the name of that group again, because I always get it wrong.
Yes. So this is education, jobs, hiring, and ways of money. EJM, education, jobs, and money for short. And I think it's the only group like that on Facebook. And the link is on my website. It's in my emails. MsFinePrint is in my socials. You can find me anywhere. I tell people, email me, DM me. I'm even on the TikTok. I be on the TikTok now with my 2 followers, right? I be on the TikTok. And so you can email me on the TikTok if you want to. Like, I don't care.
I finally got a TikTok account because people kept sending me TikTok videos and they stopped letting you watch them unless you open an account. I was like,
Right.
I'm not slit. So I'm gonna be on there. I don't TikTok,
I
but
don't be on there.
But I
I
do
don't.
watch the videos people send me, and also the recipes on there. I did
Yeah,
go down the rabbit hole of recipes. I ain't gonna lie, because I be cooking. But we ain't even gonna
me
get
too.
into that. Thank
Come
you
on.
so much for your time, y'all. This is my friend. This is my homie. Like she is somebody who, like I said, times when I have been low, she has sent me scriptures or prayed with me or fasted with me. She has talked me off the ledge of some things. I have
Hey.
talked her off the ledge of some things,
Woo.
and we give each other space to just be ourselves. Um, and everybody needs that. So I hope this was a reminder of how crazy divine connections can be, how you might come across people and it was like, oh yeah, okay, whatever. See them whenever, and then they might come back around. But yeah, thank you for your time, Jessica. Tell them kids I said, hey, when we're back out in Texas, we are going to come visit
Man,
y'all. I cannot
man.
wait.
Literally, I'm gonna slide through Florida.
Yeah,
I am gonna slide through Florida. Me and the fam. We deep now.
listen, listen. Y'all done slept on our floor before. Come on, we got air
Look,
mattresses
we
now.
we bringing our own beds now.
Come
Come
on, come
on.
on, upgrade.
Oh,
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in to McCullar Family Ministries tonight. This conversation was so rich, and I
yeah.
doubt anybody showed up and didn't get something valuable from this conversation from Jessica, the poet, the HR specialist, the mom, the wife, the daughter of God,
God,
so many other things.
thank you,
So
Jesus.
thank you all for tuning in. Y'all stay up with McCullar Family Ministries. Y'all can find us on
Yes.
Facebook, on YouTube. You can find on Instagram. An easy way to find us is hashtag McCullarFM. And
Yes.
thank you so much, Jessica. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next time.